Hello, this is Vicki Gervais at the Greater Gainesville Chamber, and I'm delighted today to be here with Antoine Fields, who is one of our candidates for State House District 21. Thanks so much for joining us today, Antoine.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into the 5 questions I have for you.
Awesome, yeah. So I grew up in Ocala. I have worked in the Florida House for State Representative Dottie Joseph previously. Today, I'm a senior manager at Common Cause. It's a national voting rights organization. I spent years on the ground organizing, helping elect progressive leaders and working on progressive causes. And yeah, I decided to get into this race because I believe that we deserve a representative who knows the district, understands Tallahassee, and is focused on solving real problems.
Terrific. All right, well, let me jump right into our number one question, which is what would be your top priorities and projects if you are elected?
Yeah, so top priority, I think across the board is just trying to lower costs for working class families. I think too many people are working harder than ever and they're still falling behind through no fault of their own. People are getting crushed by the rising costs of housing, gas, groceries, insurance, utilities, and they need relief. And unfortunately, we have a political system that too often focuses on big donors that kind of drown out working class people. And so my priority is putting Floridians first. It's fighting for policies that are going to provide relief. A big thing for me is going to be trying to expand access to healthcare. I've talked to so many people across the district that are struggling either with even getting healthcare or having healthcare that's too expensive to use. And so I believe in universal healthcare. I believe healthcare is a human right, and so I will be working to do everything possible to expand access to care, investing in telehealth and trying to close rural health gaps, but also expanding like CHIPS and kids care so that we can have universal health care, potentially looking at expanding the state healthcare program so that other folks can get on it, like school districts, contract workers, gig workers. Also looking to fight for things like paid family leave to try to raise wages, especially teacher salaries. Folks are struggling because wages have been stagnant and inflation and everything else is on the go. And so again, yeah, big priority for me is finding tangible ways to lower costs for a lot of those kitchen table issues that working Floridians are facing and struggling with every day.
Very good. You touched on this a little bit in your opening, but you can expand on it for us a little bit more. What particular skills and experiences would you bring to this office?
Yeah, a lot. I believe I'm actually the best well-rounded in this race, given my experience. I started out working on the ground as an organizer. I worked on several races across the Central Florida area before I eventually ended up working in the Florida House of Representatives with State Representative Dottie Joseph, who went on to become a member of leadership. In my time with her, we helped pass 5 pieces of legislation, 3 of which were part of the historic criminal justice reform package that passed in 2021. We were able to get excessive use of force reporting, a duty to intervene and render medical aid. We also were able to expand protections for victims or survivors of relationship abuse to be able to use recorded communications to prove that someone was violating a protective order. And we also got millions of dollars for the Office of Minority Health and Equity to start doing research and recommend policies to try to address disparities that we see in healthcare. So I'm someone that has worked in the legislature, has been successful in delivering real results on a variety of issues. I'm someone that has worked on the ground, which I think we especially need here in Florida, as people out just talking to voters in general, getting people more engaged. I'm also a proud union member, the only union member in this race at a time when we've seen unions be under attack. And so I understand the need to fight for the right to bargain and to organize without retaliation. And so I think I check a lot of the boxes that most folks are looking for in their leaders. And I'm also someone that understands the moment that we're in right now, which is why I've taken the pledge to not take money from corporate PACs or from lobbyists. And I think across the aisle, no matter your party, a lot of folks are frustrated because they feel like their voices don't have the same weight as a lot of folks with money. And so when we talk about, trying to rebuild people's trust in politics, that's the approach that I have taken, and it seems to be resonating well with folks.
Very good. So now my third question, this has had a lot of discussion and it's going to have a lot more as we head into the fall. What are your thoughts on the property tax amendment that'll be on the ballot in November?
Yeah, so I support targeted relief for working families, but I do not support this constitutional amendment. I would be more in favor of circuit breaker relief. So if your property taxes exceeds a certain amount of your threshold of your income, then relief starts to kick in, instead of just a broad measure that is going to blow a hole in local budgets. For me, and especially in this district, we have seen Gainesville be under attack from the state government on a variety of different things, most recently with GRU. And I don't think we want to be in a position where local governments are having to rely on the state to try to backfill a lot of the um, places like the schools and firefighters and police. We don't want to have to rely on the state government to try to fund those gaps, because then the power is no longer in our hands and people can get special treatment. And we already see the state government underfunding things from our schools to our roads to everything else. And so I really just don't think we want to be in that position. I understand that people want and need relief, but I also think we're just looking at property taxes when we also have property insurance, which is a big part of the housing costs. We also have just the general costs of healthcare, of utilities, of gas, of groceries, all these other costs that are taking away from people's ability to afford housing. And I think we'd be better off going after a lot of those other things. I think most polling shows that property insurance is a bigger issue for most folks than property taxes. And so I think we need to be looking at those, focusing on targeted relief. But this is really just a political stunt, and it's going to cause more problems than it solves. And I don't think we should be expecting people to vote for something when we're telling them that we really don't know how we're going to pay for it, and it's going to cause so many problems locally.
Very good. Let me ask you in question four, is Florida moving in the right direction or the wrong direction?
Wrong direction. Florida has, over the last like 5 years, quickly become one of the most affordable states to live in the country. I think the cost of housing have increased by over 50% the last few years. Property insurance and taxes have increased in some places, even quadrupled. Folks are seeing their utilities continue to go up year over year. Gas is reaching record highs, and even our inflation rate is higher than the national average. I think when you look at the state of all of that and with the economy, but then when you also layer on top of it the amount of culture wars that our state has been thrown into. And so I would definitely say we're moving in the wrong direction. I mean, we have folks that are literally terrified of being out in their community because we have mass agents running through, the streets, disappearing, and in some cases, even killing people, Americans. Um, and so it's definitely moving in the wrong direction. We've seen too many attacks on the right to vote, on immigrant communities, women rights, LGBTQ rights. And what I hear from people, regardless of their political affiliation, is that they are tired of the hatred, the divisiveness, all the culture wars. And I just think that it's a distraction from failed leadership. They turn us against each other, so we're so busy looking left and right that we're not looking up at the people that are pulling the strings and that have caused a lot of these issues and crises that we have to suffer through.
Very good. Okay, and then the final question I have for you is why should the business community support your campaign?
Yeah, I believe that the business community should support my campaign because I believe in, like I said, putting working Floridians first. I think strong businesses and the strong workforce go hand in hand. And I believe right now what we are seeing people don't have the money to go out and spend on a lot of things normally. And I think it's really affecting the business community. I've talked to small business owners even over here in Marion County that business has started to slow down because people are so stretched thin. And so I think right now, clearly we need a new approach. I want to make it easier for people to afford the basic necessities to live. The American dream is too far out of reach for folks. We need to get money out of politics and put money back in people's pockets so that they have money to invest in their communities. I think when you look at the affordability crisis right now, it hits working class people the hardest. We have one of the most regressive tax structures in the state. And so those folks are the ones that spend the most money as it comes in. And so when they're struggling and they can barely afford ends meet, they're not going out and investing in their communities. So I am focused on lowering costs for people and trying to get us out of this affordability crisis. But I think it's going to take a new type of leader and a new way of doing politics to do that. And so that's what I bring to the table. Again, I'm someone that has worked in Tallahassee. I understand how the process works. I've been successful in helping get legislation passed and securing state funding. But I'm also someone that's out here on the ground, and I think that's so important because unless you're talking to folks, you don't really know what they're going through. There's so many issues that I didn't necessarily even know that there were issues until I heard from people, and I think that's what we need right now. Someone's going to put working class Floridians first and focus on real issues, not culture wars. And so the business community will always have a partner in me in trying to figure out how we can provide relief, but make sure our businesses are strong, our workforce is strong, and that we're actually moving the state in the right direction.
Very good. All right. Well, those are the questions I had for you. So now I'm going to throw the floor over to you. If there's anything we didn't cover or anything else you'd like to inform us about you, the floor is yours for the next minute or two.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the big things that I wanted to talk about. Again, I just think right now, the moment that we're in, I think we are just in desperate need of something new. This is an open primary, so everyone will be able to vote no matter your party affiliation. And again, what I bring to the table is, like I said earlier, I don't take money from corporations or from lobbyists. I'm happy to meet with and work with anyone. But I recognize across the aisle that folks are distrusting of politics. And folks also realize that there's a lot of corruption that goes on in politics. And they want someone that's going to focus on them, put working people first, and actually try to solve their issues and not distract them with culture wars. I'm happy to meet with anyone. And I think one of the beneficial things of not taking a lot of special interest money is that folks at least know what I say is what I believe. I think we need more leaders with courage that lead with their heart regardless of their political party affiliation. We just need leaders that are going to fight for us and be honest and stick true to themselves. And so that's what you get with me. I don't claim to be an expert on everything, but I'm always willing to sit down and find solutions. But I'm always just going to do what I believe in my heart is right. And I think that's what this moment calls for. So if you're someone that's frustrated with the political system, both sides of the aisle, if you're tired of the hatred, divisiveness, the culture wars, and corruptions, then I would be honored to earn your vote and try to pave a new way forward.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much. It was great getting to know you a little bit today. And I'm going to echo Antoine's thoughts that this is our opportunity as a community to come together. We elect the people that we would like to represent us and help us make our voices heard. So at the Greater Gainesville Chamber, we want you to take advantage of that hard-earned right and get out. However you like to do it, do it. Tuesday, August 18th. Thanks again so much, Antoine. It was great getting to know you a little bit today. Good luck out in the campaign trail.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Bye now.